Hey, look, in today's episode, we're going to talk about the quicksand that the Labor government's got themselves into with capital gains tax and with negative gearing and how they can get out of it. We're going to talk about AI and some of the things you can do to make yourself better, even though AI is there, and some of the points you can apply to make your life far better, far more profitable, how you can use your personal skills to become extraordinary in this changing world.
Hey everyone, welcome back again, and good morning to you as well, Greg. How are you?
G'day, mate. Nice to be here.
Going good, fantastic. Now, I know we got the paper out here, and there's a very interesting headline on here, and I know you'd love to read the paper. Share us a little bit what's going on.
Well, crazy things are happening.
Absolutely.
Never before. I mean, you've got a lady that used to run a fish and chip shop out the back of, Brisbane. They're saying that she could be Prime Minister. She's got no qualifications. She's got no party.
Who are we talking about, Greg?
Pauline Hanson.
Oh, Pauline Hanson. Right, okay.
She doesn't even have a real party. I mean, it's like she's got to go and build it now because the opinion polls are saying we want you.
Yeah.
I mean, extraordinary. I mean, you're talking Liberal and Labor have been in power for 100 years, and all of a sudden some lady walks along and everybody wants to vote for her. This means somebody's doing a really bad job.
Exactly. I was about to say that to you. I was going to say, is this a reflection on, say, Pauline's, let's say, growing intellect and everything else?
No, it's not.
Or it's not a reflection on that.
No, she doesn't have
bad.
look, the lady doesn't have and she's going to hate me for this, but she doesn't have that warm, that warm vibe.
That kind of vibe.
She doesn't have it, as my girlfriend says, she doesn't have the right energy. But the reality is, the others are doing such a poor job.
Exactly. Well, I mean, US, the same thing, right?
America, the same thing. You've got Trump running around doing things left, right, and center, telling lie after lie, making things up, talking about talking to Iran. They ain't turning up to the meeting.
He's talking to himself.
He's talking to himself. And it's just lie after lie and direction after direction. And where's the opposition?
No. Well, I mean, there isn't. There isn't anything, right? They're missing in action.
This is ridiculous.
But I mean, if we reflect back to Australia now as well, now I know we've got a global audience with GOKO, but this is mind-blowing here in Australia, just so you know.
It'll reflect around the world.
It will. And do you feel like what's happening here in Australia with the rise of One Nation and that kind of thing, do you think it's had a flow-on effect because of what's happened in the US with Donald Trump?
I'm not too sure about that. I wouldn't go that far, but it's certainly, I mean, what I'm seeing is that when there is a next election, you better go and get a big pot of popcorn. It's going to be a damn good night because it'll be the most watched election in history because you'll see extraordinary changing of power and to somebody that is completely unqualified and is going to walk up and run away with it because Albanese told a huge lie.
Yeah.
I mean, politicians are famous for lying, but this is a bad one because they've gone to the electorate before and tried the win on that platform of negative gearing and capital gains tax, and they've failed, hopelessly failed. In fact, Shorten lost the unlosable election because he stuck by that he was going to bring in the power to sweep out negative gearing, sweep out capital gains tax and make it harder for people. Young people should be up in arms, to be honest. If you're between 18 and, say, 38, you should be really annoyed because Labor has just stolen your dream.
Yep, absolutely.
They've stolen your dream. And then they're all saying, oh, it's okay for you guys, you're millennials and your baby boomers and whatever. You had your moment. You made your money. And now what are we left with? Nothing.
No. Well, I mean, you hear this a lot and you're seeing it a lot online in the, I guess you could say, in the younger generation platforms like TikTok and Instagram and things like this, where a lot of millennials and a lot of people of that age are essentially saying, what's the point? What is the point? What am I working so damn hard for? Why have I gone to uni and paid all this money? Why? And in America, you're hearing the same thing. I went to college. I did all the things I was told to do. Now, what am I left with? Nothing.
Nothing.
And how can how can this possibly end? Like, surely there's not a shall we say, a happy ending to this. I don't know how this can possibly end. The only thing that I can say is, like what I've been saying for a long time now, is there is such a wedge being driven in the middle that you're either going to end up on the poor side or the rich side, right? But it's incredibly hard to end up on the rich side if you kind of like got your hands tied.
Exactly. And I've got to say, the Liberal Party need to have an uppercut because they are hopeless. They're useless. They're dead in the water. They've got nothing to offer.
No.
A party with that much history, with great leaders, have got nothing to offer.
No. Nothing.
And along comes a lady like Pauline Hanson, and I'm going to vote for her.
Yeah.
To be honest, at the moment, I'd vote for them.
I mean,
I'd vote
what else is there?
I'd vote for One Nation right now.
What else is there out there at the moment?
And I'm actually a swing voter.
Yeah.
I will vote.
Same.
I will vote for who I think is best for the country right now, because I believe that if you're not a swing voter, you're of no earthly use. Because how do you help the country?
Okay, totally. Otherwise, you're just mindlessly following.
Yeah,
the
because
party,
you're
right?
finally following a party that says this and that, and because your father voted Liberal, everybody in the family votes Liberal. I vote Liberal. Well, you're useless, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Because in my mind, I mean, I've seen some great things happen by the Labor Party in this country. Paul Keating and Bob Hawke did wonderful things for the country. Things that are going on bigger and bigger and better. I mean, they brought in compulsory superannuation, which has gone on to be now a world-class style of formation of a super fund. And the world is copying what Paul Keating did. So good things come out of the Labor Party. The Liberal Party as well. John Howard, what a fantastic leader he was for so long. Good, strong leadership. People loved it. But all of a sudden, we've got what? Nothing. Now, vanilla ice cream.
Yep. Exactly. Well, I mean, look, goodness knows where this is going to take us. And it's going to be interesting time to, what's going to happen if Pauline Hanson does actually get in. But let's anyway, if we look at that and go, okay, like what I mentioned before, Greg, I mentioned that a lot of young people who are online, the millennials, that kind of, I guess you would say, what's that, between 20 to 35, are saying, well, what is the point? Why am I bothering doing this? And something you mentioned on last week's podcast where you're talking about, well, the thing is that you need to have some kind of skill. Now, we've got AI coming in. We've got all these brand new, amazing, different technologies coming in. But you mentioned something last week where you said you need to have that human touch will never be replaced, right?
That will never, ever go away.
Do you feel that is so much more important now?
More than ever.
Yeah.
Because it's your power.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the power. People used to think, I know this and I've studied this at university. All the things you've studied at university have just been tossed out the door.
Well, you can learn it all online in a few hours now, right?
You don't need that.
Yeah.
The most powerful person in a company's room is somebody who's got vision and who's got the human touch.
Yeah. So for those who may be a bit younger and are listening in, when you say that, we say it's so incredibly hard for that. So do you feel like the young people coming through, they need to really tap in? If they've got that entrepreneurial spirit or they've got that kind of business mindset, they really need to tap into that human side,
they do,
right?
but they're actually very poor at it.
Mm.
And I'll tell you why, technology and, looking at YouTube and looking at TikTok and whatever, it's made people very poor communicators.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
They're very, very poor communicators. So the actual skill they need, they're not getting it because the reason why a lot of people, your age to my age, have done very well is we had to be a communicator.
Yeah.
We had to learn to talk. We had to learn, but, they're using their skills, not having any charm, any personality, anything to make people laugh. And that whatever, it's not there. That larrikin of laughter and humor and ability, which is the warmth in communication, is gone.
So what is something that, and I know we chatted briefly about this last week about, you said, you have different sales techniques that you've used in the past and things like that. What is something actionable that someone may be able to take away from this? Because you mentioned about that kind of just being able to have a conversation. just being able to, you mentioned like the larrikin thing. I don't think there's any country in the world that I've been to. I've been a lot of countries overseas where Australians aren't like, oh, you're an Aussie. Oh, come in. We're welcome with open arms kind of things, right?
And that has never gone away, by the way.
No, it hasn't.
It's because Australia does have that ability. In fact, I saw it on television last night with the Live Golf, and Bryson DeChambeau is the champion golfer in the Live team, and he's the captain of the Live team of their, called the Crushers, I think it is. And they use this young Travis Smythe to come into their team. And I noticed when Travis came and they're all together being interviewed, once he spoke and he opened his mouth, they all stopped and listened and laughed.
Travis is Australian, isn't he?
He's Australian.
Yeah.
And yet they all listened and whatever. And it's almost, you can instantly feel that Australian accent sort of grabbed them and whatever, which is great. But you are 100% correct.
So from the conversation side, when you're trying to, whether it is broker a deal or break someone down to kind of, potentially get them thinking in a certain mindset, or maybe you're trying to get the advantage in a particular deal or something, what's the conversational side that you kind of go for? Are you always coming in? Because I know that when I've been in so many meetings with you, and a lot of time there's a very calm demeanor and very kind of common sense approach, and very kind of, I don't mean to say it this way, but dumbing down of things, right? Making things just very simple, plain English. What's some of those kind of hints and tips you could give people on that? Like if someone's trying to influence a decision?
Well, everybody, when they speak or when they're selling something or when they communicate, they try to overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate things. Be very clear. But let me come back a moment, because you talked about, how do you set the scene? Well, it's called the relax and relate. How you relax and relate a situation with people. You talk to them, you get to know them, you ask them questions, you ask them. Because remember, in all sorts of negotiations, it's not about me, it's about them.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to bring it back to them all the time. If you learn the art of that, that's where you get the upper hand, if you call it. But it's the upper hand in that they get that human touch, they get that feel, that relationship, which is very, very important. That's the way you deal with people. But come back to what you talked about. Don't overcomplicate anything. Somebody once said to me, look, if you feel somebody between the ages of 8 and 10 can understand your point, you've got it.
That's interesting.
The moment you've got... You want it to be understood by somebody who's a rocket scientist, well, you're in trouble.
Yep.
Complication. Too many choices in complication nobody buys in.
Totally.
Go for one thing at a time and tick it off as you go. Don't go in for 10 different things. Come in with just a few things, or one thing at best.
That's really good. And because I know, obviously, and a lot of people would have listened and watched different events that GOKO has put on over the years. And a lot of the speakers and people like that, people like myself, I know that I try and make things as basic as I can about topics, because I talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and it's a complicated topic. So we try to break things down and we try to share it like that. What are some of the best communicators, obviously apart from myself, Greg, what are some of the best people that you've noticed that have done that kind of thing? Is there anyone that stands out, or some people that you may have talked to or that you've spoken to? I know last week you talked about Raoul Pal, how great he kind of articulates things. Is there someone that comes to mind that seems to break down a hard topic and make it very, very easy, that you've potentially interviewed or seen or anything like that?
Many, whatever. I could talk about many. I think the great communicators also are very good at telling a story. If you can come up with a story that can relate to what you're talking about, it's the most powerful part of all.
Because people can put themselves into that story. Is that what you mean? Is that what you're saying? Like, you want something that people can relate to?
There's a few things. They once you bring the logic opens the mind, but emotion opens the checkbook.
Yeah.
And when I say the checkbook, it means the permission to go ahead in whatever subject you're on about.
Whatever it is you're trying to sell, or whatever
what
it
are
may
you trying
be.
to try to do? The art of the deal.
Yeah.
As such. I mean, as I watch all the people who are communicators in teaching the art of the deal, quite frankly, most of them are not good.
Yeah.
Even the people teaching are not good
Yeah.
because they don't talk about the real things that win a deal. Donald Trump is the worst deal maker in the world because Donald Trump comes to the table as, I've got all the aces and the joker, you've got nothing. So that's the way he comes in with a sledgehammer and a threat. That's not the art of a deal. The art of the deal is, explaining to somebody, winning them over, and using stories, the power of the story about why we should work together and how you can win and I can win. He comes in with a shotgun to your head, and you know what? That wins as well.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it doesn't leave a pleasant afterburn.
It kind of has a trail of destruction behind it, right?
A little bit. A trail, yes, a lot sometimes.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Well, look, no, this has been fantastic. I really love how you articulate and break things down. And I know that people are going to get a lot out of these kinds of things because, as we said, now more than ever, especially if you're listening and you're under the age of 40, you really need to adapt as many of those skills as you can on that conversation side, the human side. As AI and all these other things come in and we talk, we see, sometimes you see a presentation, you don't know if it's a human or not talking.
No, you actually see a presentation and you watch and you find out that the whole thing is not even real. The whole thing's AI. It's horrible because it's not real. It's not really who people are. It's not the art of the deal.
We would actually really encourage, I know you do this as well, Greg, because you've been doing it for 35 years. Get out to events, get out to whether it's an education event, whatever it may be, get out and go and see it in person. There's something powerful about going to see someone live in person, rubbing your shoulders with other humans, isn't there?
Oh, without a doubt. And going to the right crowd. If you're involved with the right people, listening to the right people, inviting the right people into your life is the big difference. If you want to go from here and to go up there, it's highly likely that 90% of the people you're with aren't the people you need to be with.
What do they say? You're the product of your five
friends.
Closest friends, yeah.
Yeah, you are the closest. And also your income is the average of your five.
Totally.
Of your five closest friends. So, I know it's sad in one point, but if you want to stay there and you're happy there, that's good. That's where you want to be. But if you're a person that wants to get ahead in life and get better and better and better, there's some tough love, tough changes that you have to do, and unfortunately, and I enjoyed reading an article about Jerry Harvey and how he had his rise to be worth many, many billions of dollars. As he said, unfortunately, if I gave a $1 billion to 10 people, maybe one or two will make money out of it, the other 8 will lose it. He said because they're not ready, they haven't prepared themselves to be ready to make a lot of money. You've got to get yourself ready. You can't go from, it's like when people win in the lottery. You know what happens to people that win the lottery? What happens after 5 years? The money's gone. They don't have it. They haven't invested it because their mindset was never ready to have money. And also your mindset to be ready to be in power, your mindset to be ready to making bigger deals. You've got to get your mindset ready. And people aren't ready. It's very, very sad, but the reality. But, I like what you said about, AI is coming. Look, AI is coming and the world's full of robots, but you know what? They will never, ever, ever replace the person's ability with vision. They can't do it. They will never, ever, ever be able to have the art of the deal or the sale or whatever it is. That human touch will never leave us. I don't care what you say. It will never, ever leave us. A robot can't fall in love. Okay?
Yet.
It will never happen.
Yeah.
It will never happen.
Yeah.
So what we've got to do, there's an opportunity here. Look at these skills.
Yeah.
These skills, unfortunately, you don't learn them in university. You don't learn them so much at school and college. You've got to go and find these people skills.
Yeah.
It's the thing that will protect everything in your life and make you worth your weight in gold, and never stop having vision and thinking about opportunity. Can't be replaced.
Well, look, the beautiful thing is if that's what you're after, you're absolutely in the right place, because we're going to be sharing some amazing people and the different things that they're going to be showing over the coming weeks and months. And we've got some huge news coming up about different events, live events that we're going to be at as well. So there's lots of amazing things happening. But Greg, once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Troy.
As always, it's a pleasure. We'll see you next week.